Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulullah. Thank you again, my brothers and sisters, for joining me where we speak about the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're still following the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam. I know it's taken us a few weeks, but there are a lot of trials and tribulations that have come across Ibrahim alayhi salam throughout his life. And we've spoken about the latest one where he left his wife Hajar radiallahu anha and his son, who is also a prophet, Ismail alayhi salam, out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the desert. And we fast forward to when Ismail alayhi salam grew up, and now there was a small community that was growing in the area where the well of Zamzam was founded, and now another big test comes to Ibrahim alayhi salam. As if the tests that were happening earlier in his life weren't enough, but we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tests those He loves dearly. 86 years Ibrahim alayhi salam has been waiting for a child, for a son. And you can imagine how attached the heart of Ibrahim alayhi salam was to his son Ismail. How much he loved him, how much he adored him, and how much he needed him to be there in his life. Now the test came before, where he was asked to move away from his wife and move away from his son. And the bigger test is about to approach as well. As Ismail alayhi salam grows and becomes a young, fit, healthy man who was righteous, caring and loving, worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this was a very pleasing sight to Ibrahim alayhi salam, and he would occasionally go and visit Ismail with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now his attachment to Ismail is deeper, and he sees his son calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He orders Ibrahim a grand order, an order that we as normal people are unable to comprehend. And He ordered Ibrahim alayhi salam through his dreams. Slaughter your son, O Ibrahim. And Ibrahim alayhi salam was then plunged into a very tough position. Imagine getting this order regarding your son or your daughter. And what response did Ibrahim alayhi salam have? What could Ibrahim alayhi salam, or what option did Ibrahim alayhi salam have to say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except, "Oh Allah, I will listen and I will obey"? Regardless of the order, this is what Ibrahim alayhi salam would tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala time and time again: "I will listen and I will obey." And we find the evidence of this story in the Quran. And this was a dream that came in the form of this was a command that came in the form of a dream. So he took his son aside, and this is the ayah in the Quran. And he took his son aside and he said, "Oh my son, I see you in my dream, and I am slaughtering you in my dream." So Ismail alayhi salam responds with something beautiful, and he says, "Do as you are commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for I will be those who are steadfast." So Ibrahim alayhi salam, he takes Ismail to a place for him to be slaughtered. Iblis comes to Ibrahim to turn him away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Ibrahim throws stones to scare him away. Iblis then comes to Ismail to make him turn away from the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ismail throws stones at Iblis to scare him away. And then Iblis comes to both Ibrahim and Ismail to turn them away from the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they both throw stones at Iblis to turn him away. And this is why we throw these stones when we perform our Hajj. So they come across a big stone slab, and this is where Ibrahim alayhi salam decides that is the best place for Ismail to be slaughtered. So Ismail lays on the stone, and he tells his father to make sure that my eyes, Ismail is saying, make sure that my eyes are facing towards the ground, so when you are slaughtering me, when you are about to slaughter me, you don't look into my eyes, and maybe you will show some sort of sympathy, and that will make you hesitate, and you will deviate from the orders or the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he places his sharp knife on the throat of Ismail, and he tries to use this knife, but every time he tries to use it, the knife flips over to the other side. He tries again, the knife flips over to the other side. And as we have learned before, the fire burns with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the knife cuts by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do at this stage? How does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward Ibrahim and Ismail? We will find out inshallah during our talk next week. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you again for listening, my brothers and sisters.